Rangers, welcome to Super Important Views. My name is Steve, and today I'll be going over the Robot Damashii, the Robot Spirit's Shining Gundam. This is the Neo Japan mobile fighter from G Gundam. If you guys haven't seen G Gundam, awesome anime. Definitely need to go check it out. It's pretty much Dragon Ball Z with giant robots. It's amazing. And also, if you guys haven't seen our other reviews that we've done for G Gundam Damashii figures, we've done the Burning Gundam and Master Gundam, which we'll have links in the description below if you guys want to go check out those reviews. And the main reason I picked up the Shining Gundam here is because it's one of my favorite Gundams from G Gundam. I really love the look of the super mode from here. And this also would have been a review I would have put out a little while ago. But with the original one I got, it came missing parts, so I had to return it, get this one. And then new fancy stuff came out, so I haven't really got around to the review. But now, they were going to right that wrong. So without further ado, for the packaging, I really like that you can see the Gundam on the inside of the packaging. He's also doing his super mode, which you can see in its full glory. Also has him over in the corner, dynamic pose, also in super mode. Shining Gundam has a G Gundam logo on the bottom here. Also Robot Damashii, Bandai, looks really good. For the top of the packaging, it just tells you that he is the multiple fighter from Neo Japan. Shining Gundam, his number. Size of the packaging, just get to see him in some more dynamic poses, more stuff about his numbers. Same with the other side, not a whole heck of a lot going on. The back of the packaging, you just get him in a lot of dynamic poses. Looks awesome. He got his jump kick, shining finger. You can see him in super mode with his sword, and some stuff I can't understand, and some Lego Mumbo Jumbo. So let's get this guy opened up out of his cardboard prison. Alright, so now that we have the Shining Gundam opened up out of his cardboard prison, first we go over some of his accessories, starting with his jetpack, which actually has a lot of very nice details on here, where I really like the blue plastic that they use with some white plastic and also some black inlays for added detail, similar underneath on the bottom. Also right here has a spot for the Tamashii Nation stand if you guys want to use it, and also has a little peg here right on the back here, which what you're going to have to do on our Shiny Gundam, you'll notice there's a little pig hole back here. You just insert the jetpack into the back. And now we have our Shiny Gundam essentially fully assembled. And then next we're going to go over his beam sabers, which overall looks pretty simplistic with just the way the hilt looks. It's overall just this white plastic, not a whole lot going on here. It just has a little bit of details here and some grooves so that you can attach it to the Shiny Gundam. But the main draw for having the beam hilt is the beam blade, which are overall made out of translucent plastic with some metallic pink over top of it. They look really nice, and you can also see here too that they are both a different size. So the larger one's going to be for the larger hilt, smaller one's going to be for the smaller hilt, which grabbing those just so you guys can see them fully assembled. Here it is with the large one, and here it is with the smaller one, just so you guys can also see the varying size between the two. Also, I'd recommend, just because it kind of makes more sense the way it's going to be attached to the hilt, is you're going to want the beam blade to be facing where you have the groove on the outside, because when he's going to be pulling it out, it's going to be like this, and then that'll be exactly how the blade ejects out of there. So if you just want to go for a little bit more added realism, this is the way it should be facing. Which, putting the beam sabers on our Shiny Gundam here, overall look very awesome with them. Great accessory to be coming with the G Gundam, because part of the show definitely should be a part of the figure. But I overall really like the stances that you can actually get with him holding these beam sabers. And with them being various sizes, it does give it a little nice contrast when he's holding on to them. And something that is really awesome and a great addition to the Shiny Gundam. I'm tempted to actually keep him on the shelf like this. Usually I would actually probably be displaying this guy in the burning finger mode, but god, those swords look sexy on him. And then just to show you guys real quick on the Shining Gundam here, just moving his arm up real quick. Right here is where you attach the swords to the hilt, which what you're going to want to do is for the smallest one, you're going to want to insert first, and then you're going to want to overlay the larger one on top of this one. And literally just see right up here, there's a little groove on the inside of the holster here, which you see right here. There's a little inlay right there to insert inside the groove. And you just push it down, grab the larger one to put over top of it, repeat the same process. A little bit of a pain once you get the first one in because there's not a whole lot of wiggle room. Stick that over top. And now you have his beam sabers inside of his holster. And then next, since we're messing around with the hands already, we're going to go over the hand accessories. Which for starters, we have his hands that hold on to his beam sabers. Which you can see right here, there's a little rectangular opening to hold on to the hilt right there. And he also comes with a pair of open palm karate chop hands. Then we also have a pair of clenched fists for punching other mobile suits in the face. And then a pair of pre-shining finger hands, which are going to be used for the shining finger look. Grasping, clawing, or even defending attacks. Or even possibly Kamehameha poses. And then next, for arguably the most important accessory for the Shining Gundam, is his Shining Finger, which is made out of this translucent green plastic with this green paint over top of it, which really gives it that nice kind of burning glow to it, especially since it was green, which is kind of hard to portray green as something that's hot. But I think they did a really awesome job with this overall frosted green look that they have for the hand here. Looks really awesome and very iconic from the TV show. I also really like too that they give us an extra pair too in case you want like some double Shining Finger action, which sounds totally wrong. And to show you guys, if you want to swap out these hand accessories just like I am, what you're going to want to do is when you're going to be pulling off the hand here, you want to grab at the base of the wrist right here and at the top part of the, or I guess the lower part of the hand, right here where you can see the little ball joints kind of showing a little bit. And then what you're going to do is try to pull out as straight as possible. And you just pull it apart. Pretty easy to do. Same with the other hand as well. Grab right at the base of the wrist. Pull it apart. Comes off pretty easily. And then you just grab whichever hand accessory you want, which we're going to go with the clenched fist since it's right here. And then you just do the same thing. You just, when you pop it on, you're going to want to try to come at it as straight as possible. Just so you don't put any stress on the actual wrist joint there, so you don't have to worry about any breakage. Grab the other fist right here. Again, push it straight as possible. And once you hear the popping sound, you know the hands are in. And for our next accessory, you see right here the peg hole in the bottom here for the Damashii Nation stand. Problem is, if you want to put the Damashii Nation stand in there, which you can normally, but doesn't really go in there all the way because the way the plastic is for the jetpacks, it doesn't really accommodate for it. Then you're not going to be able to get a whole lot of articulation because it doesn't really go out all that far. So what they included is this little added peg piece so that you can actually extend it out just a little bit in order to get the stand in there a little bit better. So all you do is you insert the peg right to where we had the Damashii Nation stand, which is kind of fun because my fingers are freaking huge. But you just insert it into the peg hole. And now you have an elongated peg so that you can attach our Damashii Nation stand, and it does not interfere with anything. And now you can get him into flying poses. Especially if you want him with poses like the jumping Shining Finger pose, which overall I think is really cool. They gave us this accessory so that you're actually able to do this, even though probably not going to be using it, but it's sweet that they included this nonetheless. Also, I can point out, you can also insert it here in the crotch region, which all you do, exact same thing we did prior, just insert it in. Right there in the little pig hole on the bottom. And now you can, if you really wanted to, have him hanging out. And then next we'll go over some of his lovely details before we get into the rest of his accessories, because those are for super mode. So we'll just go over the plain old Shining Gundam look, which for the head sculpt, very reminiscent of the TV show. Overall, for the Shining Gundam, one thing I want to point out is he's very simplistic when you compare him to a lot of the other Gundams from G Gundam, because he's very just Gundam looking, you know. He looks very reminiscent of like the Wing Zero or even like the original Mobile Suit Gundam in terms of just color scheme and the simplistic design. Except for the Shining Gundam, was just a little bit more of a sleeker profile. But the head sculpt does look really nice though, and these little things terrify me on the top here for his little crest right here. But I do love the metallic gold here for the vent coverings for when he goes into super mode. These parts do expand and then his face opens up. And I think they really captured the coloring very well there. Looks awesome. And pretty much the main distinguishing feature for the Shining Gundam here. Shoulder pads are very white, very red. Not a whole lot going on here. Not even too much in the vent work here except for the little padding right here for the top of his shoulder. The body looks very nice too with this blue plastic here with some emerald green for the dome for the cockpit here. And you also have some yellowing on the side here. And some metallic gold over top of the Vulcan cannons right here. It looks very nice. Some red plastic here for the abdomen region. For his arms, pretty simple looking except for the blue guard over top of his forearm here, which also have some metallic gold here for the undersection here for the vent work for when this pops up for the super mode. And also on the back region here too, you got the thrusters with some gray on the inside of the thrusters as well. Looks very nice. Actually, I'll pop this off for you guys real quick just so you guys get a better look at the details underneath. Looks really impressive. Same with on the forearm here, which again, not a whole lot in terms of coloring going on here, but there's a little bit added detail underneath the forearm. Then for a skirt, pretty simplistic in the color scheme as well, where it's primarily white, but you do get some black inlays, a little bit of gunmetal here for the vent work. Now on the side of the skirt, you get a little yellow upside down triangle here, which is supposed to help in the direction that you're supposed to be putting the hilts into the holster right here. And then the back piece, which pretty simple. Maybe you could use a little bit of black line work to make it pop out a little better. And for the other skirt over here, which actually doesn't have any way of inserting the swords into this side, which does make it accurate for the figure. Then for his legs, a whole lot more white plastic, except you get a little bit of gray here for the knee joint, and a little bit of blue and red plastic here for the coverings for his leg portion of the super mode, which this will lift up to show up the thrusters, which will show off in a few. But overall, it still has a lot of very nice details here on the leg as well. I also really like the shin guard, I guess that's what I'm going to call this right here, where it actually has some decent detailing in here with some more gunmetal and blacks here, and some vent work here on the back, and his red and white boots. And then just to show you guys the back of the Shining Gundam real quick with the jetpack on, looks really, really nice, and love the little thruster right there. And then if you pop it off, you get a couple of little screws right here, and some product information. And then briefly go over his articulation, which he actually has a crap ton, which is something that's really awesome for the G Gundam figures, where his head can look up about yay far, can look down about that far, also has a nice wiggle side to side, can rotate all the way around. So and pretty much the articulation here is at the base of the head here and at the lower portion of the neck, so you get a lot of range of motion there. For his shoulders, can go up about that far, down about that far, can actually go forward about that far because there actually is a hinge here on the shoulder, so it can move in and out. And then it moves backwards about that far. Can rotate all the way around. At the upper part of the bicep, can rotate all the way around. Just be a little bit careful of the plastic bit right here for the vent on the top of the shoulder, which actually can pop off if you do rub it the wrong way. Now it has a double joint here at the elbow, so you do get a very nice bend here, which is really impressive. Also, popping this off here, you can actually rotate it at the middle section of the forearm here. But what this is mainly for is when it's in super mode, because when you have this attached, it just wants to pop off if you want to rotate it. But this part will lift up, which I'll show you guys in a second, and that's what that little articulation point's there for. And the hands are on a ball joint, so they can rotate all the way around, and it can move up and down. But swapping on a hand accessory, if it has the little groove right here on the upper portion of the hand, it can actually bend up higher than what it normally would be able to. For a side rotation, without messing with the back skirt popping it off, it rotates about that far to the side. Also has a pretty nice wiggle to it. And also each of these skirts can lift up and down, which these are actually on a little hinge right here in the ball joint, which these are also on a ball joint, but they only lift up about that high, that far down. You can move them side to side, but they do pop off very easily, just to give you guys a heads up. Same with the skirt on the back, can lift up and down. Also has a nice rotation to it as well. For the legs, can move outwards about that far without popping the skirting off. Can move inwards about that far. Actually has a very insane forward kick, and also a pretty nice backward kick as well. Also has a rotation here at the upper part of the thigh. Has a nice double joint here at the knee, so you do get a very nice bend here at the knee. Also has a rotation where it can rotate all the way around at the knee. And then for its feet, which actually has a ton of articulation here, the feet can move up about that far, down about that far. Also has a rotation here at the front part. And then if you use the ball joint on the back, it also has a little bit of a swivel there as well. And then can pretty much go about that far to the side if you shimmy the foot a little bit. And then also the guard up here can move up and down as well. And the little wings on the back of the guards can move individually as well. So in terms of articulation, the Shining Gundam is freaking boss, because I really love how you can get into a lot of dynamic fighting poses. Just one thing to be a little bit wary of is a lot of these parts can pop off pretty easily when you're moving it around. So if you guys are going to be messing with this thing in terms of just with the articulation, just make sure you have it somewhere where you're not going to be losing small pieces. And then next, I will show you guys how to get him into super mode. Which, for starters, you're going to want to pop off his head, which, just like the hands, you're going to want to grab closest to the base of the neck as possible and then pull in an upward angle to not have as much stress on the joint as possible. So then you just pull upward, which it is actually pretty easy to get the heads off. Not so easy to get the heads on, which right here we have the super mode head, which is one of its accessories. I'll show you guys in just a second. But when you're going to be putting it on, just make sure, again, push it down as much in a straightward angle as you can. And then here we have the super mode head, which show you guys the details on it really quick, which look freaking fantastic. I love the super mode head. I actually prefer the super mode to the Shining Gundam over the Burning Gundam's hyper mode. I think it's just a nice contrast to the actual figure because of all the gold that this figure is going to accentuate, which I'll show you guys in just a sec. And then next, for the shoulder pads, what you're going to want to do is actually these white pieces can pop off. All you do is just pull upward on them, and it reveals the gold plating underneath for the hyper mode. You're going to want to pop off both of these. And then right here you have this little piece of plastic, what you're going to do is get some nail in there. Then you just lift this piece up to reveal a new peg right there. Do the same for the other side. And then you just reattach the shoulders just like you had them on originally. Just popping that one into that joint. And then you take your other one, insert it over top of the other one, and now you have his shoulders propped up in the hyper mode. Next, for his forearms, you're going to want to pop off the blue guard here. Then you just take your nail right here, pull upwards towards the front of the blue guard here to reveal a even longer peg. And then you just peg it right back into the arm. Pretty simple stuff. Do the same thing to the other side. Push it forward. Make sure it's up all the way, which mine is not. There we go. Put it right back into the arm joint. Now once you get it in, it should be sitting up about that high off the forearms, which looks freaking awesome. And then for the lower part of the leg, these little vent guards pop right off. Just pretty easy to do. Reveal some more gold paint right underneath, which has a really nice metallic shine to it. Pull the other one off. And then you grab your accessory for the corresponding leg, which I kind of wish that these would just have lifted up to reveal this, but there is a lot of movement that would have to have been involved to get this to actually look right. So I understand the way they did it. It just would have been nice to kind of not have as many accessories to go with this guy. Just more things to lose if you didn't want to keep the box. But you just stick it right on top of the leg part right here. Looks freaking amazing. I also like how they have the metallic silver here to help accentuate the gold on the inside of the thrusters here. And then you just grab the other one as well, put it on the other corresponding leg. And now we have the Shining Gundam in full super mode, which is definitely the way I will probably be displaying this guy on my shelf, because I just personally love the way the super mode looks. It helps to give this guy a lot more wide range of color scheme, which makes him a little bit more eye-catching sitting on the shelf. And in the show, it's just one of the more iconic things for the Shining Gundam to be doing is his super mode, especially when he was fighting Master Asia and the Master Gundam and fighting the Dark Gundam, which I really wish they would make a Dark Gundam figure for these guys. But I'll have to sadly wait on that. But there is a Damashii Gundam Spiegel coming out, or some of you may know as the Shadow Gundam, which was the Neo Germany's Gundam, piloted by Schwarzbruder, which is actually be coming out, which I'm totally going to be having fighting this guy. And overall, I think they did a great job on the work of the super mode right here. And then just bring him in for a closer look. Her shoulder pads look awesome where you have the metallic gold right here. And I love the contrast between the red and the white you have right here. Makes it really eye-catching. You can also see the details underneath the blue arm pads here a little bit better when they're lifted up, which looks really nice. And I just love the details here too on the thruster pads on the bottom of his legs. Like, it just really helps to give him a lot of added colors that this figure really needed. And it's definitely the way I'm going to be displaying him on my shelf. So for some quick comparison, here we have Shining Gundam next to some of his other G Gundam counterparts with the Burning Gundam and Master Gundam. And here is some SH Figure Arts figures from Big Bad Beetleborg / Beat Fighters with Redel, Blue Beats, and G-Stag. Also, you may know him as Red Striker, Blue Stinger, and Green Hunter. And here's some SH Monster Arts characters with Gamera 1996 and Godzilla 2000. And here's some other large robot figures with my masterpiece Optimus Prime from Hasbro and the Hasbro Starscream. So overall, the Shiny Gundam, this figure is awesome. The details on it are very reminiscent of the TV show. The articulation is insane, and the only real nitpicks that I have is the accessories can pop off of them fairly easily, which are just minor nitpicks. I just recommend if you guys do pick this guy up just to be a little bit careful with him, because he can lose parts on him fairly easily. But if you guys love the Shiny Gundam, or really into G Gundam, or just Gundam in general, then you guys definitely need to be adding some golden fingers to your collection today. But what do you guys think? Do you guys own the Shiny Gundam? What's your favorite Gundam series, or is Robotech just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. A little closer picture of this guy on Facebook. You want to click the link description below. Help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button. Subscribe to become a ranger today, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.